And we are live. Now, this was just a little impromptu. I felt like I wanted to get out here online. So I decided, this is a great time to do it. It's the day before Good Friday, if you will, and just so glad to share with the community. Now, I'm going to wait for a couple people to come in today, but here are some people. Here's Delia, and here is Madam Blaster. Or not Delia, Delilah. Good. Hello, Delilah. And hello, Stephanie. Stephanie, I'm really looking forward to seeing you on the show on Sunday night. We're going to have a blast going back and forth, talking about why you should be a comic book collector and why you should not be a comic book collector. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And that is completely Stephanie's idea. And our good buddy Bullfrog, yeah, you're a bullfrog, but Bulldog is here, okay? Now, Bulldog, I hope you know that my favorite pet, the comic dog, is also a bulldog named Nixon. He's usually up here with me in the comic book room, but I decided to keep him out whenever I'm actually filming. Now, there's a lot of things going on here in the community, and I realized I set this live stream up at 6:30, and I wish I had not, because one of my favorite YouTube channels drops videos at 6:30. So if you're here in the chat, please make sure you go over to Reggie Collects YouTube channel to watch his video. But of course, after you're done watching this one, and Steve and Spock, I don't know if I've ever seen you in the live stream before, but welcome to the channel. And I'm going to say Nanu, but I know it's live long and prosper, okay? But I always liked whenever Mork from Mork used to do the Nanu. Although I think his was the pinky out or something. I don't know. I'm trying to do a pinky. There we go. I think that was the Nanu. Got to get that finger dexterity out. I have it. Okay. But I had to get that finger dexterity. And our good buddy Circumstances, thank you for showing up in the chat. So I put out on Instagram today that, if anyone has any questions, go ahead and put them down in there, and we'll do, a little question and answer session. And Delilah, happy Easter, kiddo. I hope that your bunny lays the best eggs ever, okay? This is one of my friends' kids, one of the students at the school I work at. She just got a pet bunny. So, Delilah, I hope that pet bunny lays a lot of eggs for you, okay? Because we all know that's where the Cadbury eggs come from. They come from bunnies, right? So, anyhow, Easter's a good, fun time. Now, some of these questions that I got, let me see where they're at. Now, I have one here from X11 Bravo. His question is, he would love to know a power set. He would love to know the power set that I would roll with if I could have 3 superpowers total, and your reasons why, of course. Power set. Really, 11 Bravo? Come on, man. That sounds like an infantry question. So, hey, Steve, I got to think of what my 3 powers I want, but here's the thing. No one ever thinks about these superpowers, okay? Because when you're a little kid, you want to be able to just fly. How cool would that be to just levitate and go flying? But then you become an adult and you realize, wait, that's the stupidest power ever. Because, well, if you're up and you're flying, it gets really, really cold whenever you're going fast. So, all right, so now I'm going to be freezing, but I can fly. Or I'm going to fall down, and, that's not very good. Because what if I'm not paying attention and I end up falling, flying into the ground? Not very good at all. So you have to have other powers to go along with it. So let's just say you have impenetrable skin. Am I really talking about impenetrable skin and flying? I really am. This is really happening. So, anyhow, if you have impenetrable skin, no one's ever going to say that your organs are going to be inside. So, you got to have impenetrable organs too. You need more than one power, is all I'm saying. So, I think there's a lot wrong. There's a lot of things having superpowers that I don't even want to delve into. So, needless to say, I'm kind of cool not having a superpower. Kenneth Bird, hi to you, buddy. And Philtastic, comics and art. Although I did read your question that you put on there. How do you handle being so awesome? You know what? I am so far from awesome. Like, I try to treat people the way I would like to be treated. Okay? I think that's in a good book somewhere. Okay. Tomorrow's Good Friday. You know, there's a lot of good lessons in that book. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm just a normal human being. I'm honestly awesome. Far from it, buddy. Here's Madam Kenneth Ken. Oh, saying hi to everybody, Phil. And I'm not Steve. I'm not sure. Did I say Steve? Hi, Trev. I think I might have done it. Seth, you know, this is the thing, Matt Woods. The fly means the fly away from the existence of human. Oh, wow. That's pretty depth, okay? Pretty deep. What up, Phil? You know, people saying hi to each other. Let's see. I have another question here from Madam Blaster, who had the first comment that she put in there like 1 this afternoon. And I'm on the East Coast, if you don't know. But she put it in a 1 o'clock East Coast time. I don't like this question. How do you handle being an influencer? Whew, that's a tough one, guys. How do I handle being an influencer? That, I'll be honest with you. If anyone ever buys a comic book because Matt Woods is talking about it, you're a moron. Okay. I'm not saying people are morons or anything, but I don't know anything more about comic books than the next guy. Now, I don't want to like say that I don't know anything about comic books because that's not entirely true. I do know a fair amount, but I don't know anything more than anyone else. And I don't know anything more than you. And if somebody's buying a comic book because Matt Wood said, hey, this is a cool comic book, I don't think you're buying it for the right reasons. Okay. There's a lot of good reasons to buy comic books. Hopefully you like the story, you know, and I'm not even going to knock people that buy comic books in order to flip them, in order to make a profit. Guys, every person that owns an LCS, guess why they buy comic books? They're trying to make a profit. Nothing wrong with that. That's actually kind of a good idea. It's a good business. It gets those books into the hands of the people that are looking for them. So I'm not going to knock speculators, if you will, but I just don't want to be an influencer for anything. Now, I have bought some comic books off of people because they liked it and they opened my eyes to it. I'm like, I might have never read that comic book if I hadn't heard this YouTuber talk about it. And so I started looking it up. I'm like, you know, that actually sounds interesting. I have done that. But if anyone is out there looking for Conan the Barbarian or Spider-Man or Spawn, because people don't realize I'm a big Spawn collector. If they're out there looking for those comic books because I said so, I would actually feel amiss. But that being said, I will, a little bit later, I will talk about somebody that has influenced me. So let's see what Phil has. I have a superpower. When I'm driving and stopped at a traffic light, I can change them from red to green by staring at them for a few minutes. Works every time. Yeah, mine usually take a long time. My superpower is delayed on that one. And more people saying hi. And the real Steve out there, okay? So anyhow, I was going to talk about people that influenced me. Now, I got to get this. I was talking to Doug Bratton on the great Anachronic Comics YouTube channel. We were doing the comic book crowd show, which is on Friday. It's the last Friday of the month on his on Joe's channel. He was talking about this comic book, and it's not truly a comic book per se, but it is done by Stan Lee. Stan Lee wrote this, and this was Stan Lee / Marvel's attempt of doing a Mad Magazine type of a comic or magazine, I guess. but you can see who's on the cover. Guess what month this came out? This month came out in November 1963. Now, this is pretty cool because Stan Lee took pictures of political figures or pop culture figures. And honestly, he would just do one little blurb on them. And honestly, some of these had me laughing out loud. But I just want to draw some attention to this photo right here. This is President Kennedy in the back of an open air car. Okay. Convertible, if you will. Again, November 1963. President Kennedy was assassinated November 22nd, 1963. This book had not been released, and it has never been released. In fact, this book was pulled, and they ended up destroying every single one of these copies. Well, I take that back. They attempted to destroy every single one of these copies, but a handful of them got out. They got out into the world, and the more of you don't say. Again, it's magazine. I don't know what really to call it, but I ended up going onto eBay because you can find some of these books every now and then. And I found a pretty good copy on eBay. And you know what? This was influenced by Doug Bratton. So Doug Bratton did influence me, but he influenced me some more. If any of you guys follow me on Instagram, and I think everybody in here except Tina, and speaking of Tina, here you are. Tina, everyone but Tina follows me on Instagram, but Doug Bratton not only told me about that comic, he's talking to me about his pop culture shock therapy books. Okay. Now he AOK'd me a book and it's here in the comic book room somewhere. I can't find a darn thing. Okay. It's in here. I just can't find it. Anyhow, this is one that I got off of him, but he actually showed me a listing of a few different ones. Doug has written a lot of comic strips, okay? And he has different compilations. And some of these they are laugh out loud hilarious. And so I ended up getting this because of Doug Bratton. And did I see Big Cat? He's in here somewhere. Here you are. Nice to see you, Big Lion Cat. Did I just see you with Desired Comics? Did I just see an Instagram post on that? Let me know if that was Desired Comics I saw you with, because two awesome human beings. Here's another pop culture shock therapy compilation book, and yet one other one. Okay, funny but deadly. So you can find these on Amazon, and I'm sure eBay. I'm sure because they're out there. So I have been influenced. I hope I never influenced anyone else, but yes, it was Nigel. Okay. Super, super good dude. Okay. It's good seeing, I like seeing people that I know and I like, meeting up different places. So that is awesome. You get to meet him. But I hope I never influenced anyone to buy a comic book. But like I said, every now and then I'll be influenced by something, but not because I don't want to, because maybe I learned about it. And so I'm like, you know what? This is time. I want to pull a trigger and buy a cool book. This thing right here, this is like one of those cool books. It's not worth a whole lot, honestly. Nobody even knows that Stan Lee did this. Most people don't. But you can see, President Kennedy on there, the month he was assassinated, it was when that book was supposed to come out. So I will buy some books because of that. All right, let me get back in this chat. Steve White, how you doing, Steve White? Trev, they are great. Okay, Doug's legit hilarious. Okay, whenever you read what he writes. Yo, what's up, Matt? How are you doing, Los? Okay, this is such a good dude. He has his own YouTube channel, but guys, if you ever are just sitting around wondering what to watch on YouTube, go YouTube search Reggie Kleck's Comic Room Makeover, and you get to see Los's incredible comic book collection and his comic book room. Okay, so definitely go give that a shot. Plus, Los has his own YouTube channel. Such a good dude. Let's see. Let's keep catching up. Scrolling. Uh Trev, was that C2? Okay, there's a conversation going on. Circumstances. Uh, it's not a complete bad word, right? Sometimes it can be. People saying hi. Phil, I have to go. Enjoy the show. You know what? Thanks for saying tickle that like button, okay? Don't smash it. You'll end up breaking things. But let's see what else is going on. Seth, wait, Shop, is he in here? I can't. Oh, yes. Somehow this, my chat is jumping. And here's Shop for Comics. You know, a lot of great people on here. Ooh. Oh, that's you got to meet Los. Excellent. Okay, let's talk about good people meeting up. Mm. You know, if I get to a comic show this year, I think it's going to be in Toronto, but I cannot guarantee that. My family kind of conned me into going on vacation, so I think some of my resources are going to go there. But anyhow, we're going to talk about more influencers, okay? I got an AOK from somebody, and I've shown this off in a standalone video. Woodsy Owl, which my great friend Tina had sent us out. Tina's really good at sending AOKs, although my buddy Chewbacca's not here, which was another one. But this is kind of cool because I happened to go to a school where the school mascot was the Owls, okay, or an Owls. Well, my last name being Woodsy Owl. Do you think I ever got called that in elementary school? So Tina found that out, and she ended up finding this Woodsy Owl. Is this number one? It's a gold key. It does not have a number on the cover. I'd have to open it up and look at it, but Woodsy Owl, and I'm sure that's from the 20 cents. That'd be from the 70s. And there was tickle Matt Woods, everyone. I'm just getting back to the chat. Come to Toronto for vacation. That is not a horrible idea. I just got to convince the kid and the wife that we're not going to go on a tropical cruise in order to go to Toronto. We'll see how that one flies, but I'll give it a shot, Steve. And it's number one. Thank you, Tina. Tina did her research, and I do think I knew it was number one, but just right in front of the camera when the camera was rolling, I didn't want to say it was a number one because I could have been wrong. But guys, I'm going to show off another book from a great person that influences me. And now, when I say influence, I mean this in the best way. Some people can influence you to be better, to somehow make the world a better place. And this book right here, this is a lot cooler. I mean, it's cool to look at, but when I show you exactly how cool it is, you guys are going to be almost amazed with this. This is Conan the Barbarian number 25, okay, or in the Legacy run, it is issue number 300. This was the last Conan the Barbarian that Marvel actually printed when they got to Totalback. But do you guys see that awesome drawing on the front? Yeah, I don't, because it's not a drawing. This is a blank variant cover, okay? This is the regular cover, but they have the blank cover on it. This is actually cut out, okay? And I'm just amazed by this. But why I say I'm influenced? Milt, okay? Guys, go check out Milt's Instagram page. It is Flowers Comics. He is a local guy to me, okay? And he went to Pittsburgh Steel City Con, and he saw this there, and he wrote a little note. He sent it to me for Christmas. He says, well, as soon as he saw this, I was the first person he thought of. So what I mean by that is I have Tina right here who does great things for the community. I have Milt right here that does great things for the community. Neither one of these AOKs or the Chewy that was sitting next to me in the last few videos, neither one of them did I know was coming. And they just want to make people happy. And guys, if you can do something like that, you just make somebody happy. It's a great time. It's a great thing. Trev, okay, sent me some stickers. And Trev, I'm not joking with you. Not everybody gets on the comic book drawers over there, okay? Not everyone can get my drawers, Trev, okay? Let's just get that out of the way. Well, Trev, you made it, okay? So, great people doing a lot of great things for people. And let's get back to the chat. You'd rather go up north in a tropical cruise. Not if you're from the north, okay? Every now and you like the winter, but every now and then you want to get away from it. Yes, Steve, you figured out marriage trick, okay? Because guys, pay attention to Steve. All you need to do is make your wife think it's her idea. If she thinks it's her idea, she is 100% on board every single time. So, Steve, that's some serious husband hacks right there. All right, love me some Conan. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. And that is a pretty cool cover. It's so dope how it's all cut out. And Trev, all about the community. And Tina's talking about Milt because, well, Milt is just such a good dude. He posted some books today, guys. They are some fire golden age horror books. And you have to go check these out. He ends up, and I don't want to tell the story. It's on his Instagram, but there's just a lot of like cool history that goes with these books that he's coming across again that he's always had, but just hasn't seen in years. Seth, Matt Woods, your Han Solo. Oh, wait. You're the Han Solo and you need to have a counterpart. Okay, we do need to have Chewie here, okay? Yes, they are positive influencers, Steve. But I go where the comics are. Very good, Big Cat. Big Lion Cat, okay? BLC. I don't know why I'm calling you Big Cat. I guess I'm just shortening it. But Tina said something. I missed that. Or somebody said something. But anyhow, so we can be good influencers. And that's actually a really cool part of the hobby. Getting to meet people like, Big Lion Cat got out there and got to meet Nigel and just cool things going on. And BLC, where were you at? Was it MegaCon or C2E2? Okay. Because if you're at C2E2, there was a lot of people there at C2E2 that I knew. And I remember somebody put a post on Instagram and it was somebody just looking sour. And they were saying, seeing all the posts from all the people that are at C2E2. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I was feeling. That was last week and I wanted to go. But thanks, Seth. You know what? I love the people in this community too. Just seriously good-natured people that want to do good in the world and just be positive. And I actually wish more people would just be fun, have, be carefree and just try to, make the world a better place. And it looks, BLC, thank you. It was in Chicago, okay? First time there. Well, Chicago is about a 10-hour drive, maybe not a full 10-hour, maybe 8-hour drive for me. And one of these days, I think I'll get there. But I don't know. I still have a kid in high school, so a lot of my world is revolving around that, okay? Comic community is the best of all communities. It is. You can't even argue with that. Not saying that every actor out there is, virtuous and good, but it is a good collection. And for the most part, most people are just down to earth, normal human beings. Okay. And that's a good way to do it. If you've already been to MegaCon, well, why go to it again? Go up to a different part of the world so that you can, one, meet people. And, I'm sure that every con isn't the same. I have never been to, and I say it over and over again, but I've never been to any cons. But if I do get to one, I think it is definitely going to be Toronto. Okay. Steve White is kind of pressuring me to get there, but we'll see, Steve. Although I could do the vacation to Toronto. All right. That's why you tune in. I actually appreciate that because I don't always know how I sound, how I come across to people. I'm in here interacting and I'm just, I do this for fun. Okay. I don't make any money off of this. Although I do make a few cents, but I think if you added it up, it literally is a few cents. Okay. Because I'm monetized on YouTube, but I have barely over 1,000 subscribers. And, I'm at the bare minimum. I'm not like a Mr. Beast or whoever the big YouTubers are. So I actually really appreciate that, Seth. And here's Los. I only try to align myself with people that are positive and just want to have fun in this community. There is no time for negativity because, we all have our real world. Okay. We have family stress, we have work stress, we have family fun too. I mean, I'm not saying families are stressful, but at the same time, this is a hobby. This is what we do for fun, for enjoyment. And there are people that are negative in a hobby. And some of those people, I might even like some people that are negative. I'll call them negative. But I really don't watch their YouTube videos. I don't really hang out with those people that are in the hobby that are negative because I don't know. It's just a bad vibe. I don't want to be brought down. I don't want to be stressed out by a hobby. I mean, guys, this is just fun. It's paper, okay? What makes this important to me isn't the paper. It's the fact that somebody thought, you know what, this is really cool art. I think Matt Woods would kind of like that. Negativity. How do you get negative? You're looking at Woodsy Owl. I don't ever want to take this hobby too serious because I don't know. Life has its own, own issues. A cool Stan Lee hidden comic book that people don't really know about. Okay. I'm not. Yay, Woodsy thinks I'm normal. I don't know. That might be a stretch. Okay, Tina, are you normal? Of course you're normal. Okay, the guy who runs MegaCon doesn't like the guy who runs C2. I'm sorry. That's just some spite. Okay. I didn't know that. I was wondering, like, why are they having these two big cons on the same weekend? So there's a little bit of animosity going on in there. That cracks me up. Steve, love your show. Okay. You keep it about the comics. Well, Steve, you know what? Steve has an open invitation for any time he wants to come on the channel because he just does a great job. We always have a great conversation, and Steve's a good dude. And it should be about comic books. It shouldn't be, if it's a comic book YouTube channel, let's not talk about politics. Let's not talk about anything. It's just the fun stuff. Okay. A lot of people saying, Brian LCS. Okay. The godfather of the comic book community. Speaking of good people trying to spread positive vibes out there. Okay. Brian is one of them. And Madam Blaster. Okay. Madam, I was talking about you when we first started the show, talking about our show that's going to be happening this Sunday at 7:30, where we're going to do a back and forth, okay? I don't know who's going to go first. I think we're going to do a coin flip, but we're going to do, she's going to say reasons you should not collect comic books, and I'm going to have reasons that you should collect comic books. It's going to be, like I said, a back and forth, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. This was Stephanie's idea, the back and forth. And honestly, guys, I think it's the best idea ever. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm glad you're back here. One of the great things about this community is the live streams and the personal connections that you have with one another outside of them. Absolutely right. Before this YouTube community started, I think a lot of collectors, they might run in somebody at their LCS and they might chit chat back and forth. But I think for most collectors, we just didn't realize how vast the world was with different collectors and different personalities. This YouTube game allows us to have connections where we might never meet each other. Seth, you're from the great town of Wichita Falls in Texas. Awesome place. Yes, I have been there. But Seth, may have never run into each other. I may have never heard your name, and that would be disappointing because I think you're a superhuman being, and that's solely because of this YouTube stuff. Okay, I get to talk to you in a Reggie Collects chats, and I get to talk to you here, get to see what you post on Instagram. So definitely love the live streams here in the community, and people saying hi. Nice. Okay. Let's see. We're going to get rid of that one. Hey, Blue Wrench, go ahead and you can take care of that one. I go first. I don't know. We might flip a coin there, but I think something is coming up at Hershey about comics. Just don't know when. Oh, Hershey's not that far. I think that's about halfway between you and I. I'm closer to Pittsburgh. You're closer to the other side, the eastern half of the state. But oh, it is going to be a blast. Yep. Sad. Yes, we will meet one of these days. I hope you're at GarageCon so we can meet up. That'll be a good time. But oh, where you know what? Did I never give you a wrench? But I'm looking at it here, and I know who I gave wrenches to. Although I'm trying to give one to Mark Andrews too, but I can't see them on here. I'd have to open up my actual YouTube video and look at it, and I can't see it here in a StreamYard check. I use StreamYard to do my live streams, but there's a million reasons not to click, but it only takes one to hook you for life, right? A lot of times what hooks us is, some emotional connection. Sometimes it's just we like the stories, but it just takes one hook, and you are right. But, every time I look at my wallet, I can think of a million reasons that I probably shouldn't. Okay. Alex, ahoy from work. Good to see you, Sindane, the shipwrecked pirate. Let's see, Conan 24. Oh, okay. You know what? I just picked up, and I posted on Instagram, I just picked up a Conan 23 in a 9.6, which is the first appearance of Red Sonja in comics, and I have that comic book, but it's a pretty low grade, beat up reader copy that's, not slab. But I'm trying to get some of those early Conan comic books and decent grades and slabbed. Yep. It's coveted coveted in my book. Okay, not sure what you're referring to that in that comment. What book is the book that sent you all down the comic book rabbit hole? Ooh, I think Stephanie's asking for people to give their input. What comic book is what got you into collecting comic books? Mine, honestly, I couldn't tell you. I could tell you the first comic book, but if that was the only comic book I ever got, I don't know if that would have got me down a rabbit hole. But I would say one of the Jim Owsley Conan the Barbarian, when I think he started in issue 172, 173, somewhere in there. But he goes by the name Chris Priest right now. So, but he used to be Jim Owsley. Now, Anthony, comics take you away from the insanity of real life, and that's the absolute truth on that one. So, it's just if you get too stressed out about comics, what are you doing? You're doing something wrong. But Steve White, guys, Steve White just posted he got a high grade, a 9.8. G.I. Joe #3. That's the very first book that Steve White ever bought. Okay. So he ended up getting that. And that G.I. Joe #3 is what got him down the comic book rabbit hole. Comics will never die. I hope you're right. Okay. I don't know where the future is going to go with comic books, because there's a lot of comics that are being printed online. And I actually love to read comic books online. I'm not going to lie to you. But you guys can see, I still collect my floppies, okay? I like having something tangible in my hand. I actually love reading comic books, open them up, even though I prefer to read them online, just so I don't damage the books, okay? But hopefully the big publishers don't quit printing them and then turn them onto online, because I think that would be that just would not be, or that wouldn't be the best, if you ask me. I think people actually like to hold those books. What got you into comic books was The Amazing Spider-Man and Friends on television Saturday morning. That's actually legit, okay? Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was a really, really cool cartoon, which I watch that now. I think it's on Disney Plus, or it's on one of the streaming services. I'm pretty sure Disney Plus. I think it's just not the best anymore. I think the animation's pretty weak. But at the same time, back when it was on, that was amazing. Okay. And I was a little kid at the time, but Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was a great cartoon. That being said, I still like the 1960s animated Spider-Man. Yeah, I used to watch that when I get home from school. Um, yeah, whenever I was in like kindergarten, and loved it. And they were reruns whenever I was watching them, but it was still a very cool show. Honestly, that's probably what got me hooked into it. That and the Hulk TV show was really big at the time with Lou Ferrigno. So I definitely think the TV shows, just like you, Seth, are what got me into comic books long before reading them. Then Mad took hold. Okay, yes, Steve has an amazing Mad magazine comic, or I keep calling them comics, but collection. Which Mad magazine's like a pseudo comic book, if you will, or a comic book's a pseudo magazine. I'm not sure which is right on that one, but Wolverine miniseries one I got from my uncle was the first. Whoa, that is a pretty big book for that to be your very first book. Okay. That's pretty much of a mega Chad Key, if you will. So that's a great introduction. Now, Frank Miller started you off right. Saturday morning cartoons were my life. And we're talking about all these cartoons. Well, the Justice League, okay, was a great show that I used to love to watch whenever I was a kid. Even before I think I started kindergarten, I'd watch the Justice League. So I knew all about the Spider-Man, knew about the Hulk, knew about all of the Justice League members. Like, they did there was a lot of comic book themed stuff in the late 70s and early 80s. Anthony, first comics for me is X-Men 120 in the magazine, cartoons, and Savage Sword of Conan. You know what? All right, a man after my own heart. A lot of good books. And you loved watching Wonder Woman. Oh, you know what? You guys keep talking about this, and it's like all these shows are coming back in my mind. Yes, the Linda Carter Wonder Woman. Okay. I used to think it was normal to live in a hotel because, well, she lived in a hotel. So I always thought, man, there's somebody to make your bed every morning. That'd be great. But yes, the Wonder Woman show was great. And the Superman movie. Okay. Love the Littles. The Smurfs might have been one of my favorite cartoons too. Except the Lou Ferrigno Hulk back in the day was incredible. And that soundtrack, you know what? That ending scene where David Banner is walking down the road, that is the saddest movie, or forgive me, that is the saddest music that has ever been composed. Okay. Every time I see that, I'm like, this is horrible, man. I just want to start out crying. I started coming Captain America first. Okay. Nice. Blue Hellion comics. I've always had a love of Star Wars comics, and collecting those comics from the 90s and older, it can become a rabbit hole. Trust me, there were so many Dark Horse Star Wars comic books. I remember saying something to my wife because I love the old Star Wars movies. I'm like, I want to start collecting Star Wars comics. And I did for a while. And I was getting all the miniseries stuff. There was just too many series. There's too many miniseries. I was like, I just can't collect all of these because, well, I'm a married man, and she has something to say with how I spend some of my money. But Blue Hellion Comics, I haven't seen you in the live stream before, so welcome to the show. And Real Rude, excellent. Nice to see some new faces in here. What's your occupation? I was in the military. Now I'm a school teacher now. But Seth, the Smurfs, not to mention the best Smurf ever made with Smurfette, and she was made from Gargamel. Yeah, I think that was in the very first episode of Smurfs. Okay. So, no, that's you know what? I kind of forgot that was even a thing. Nice, madam. We love the Smurfs. And hair tutorial. Oh, yeah, this guy's still in here. All right. You have nothing better to do? Are you just that big of a loser that you're hanging out here and being a troll? But anyhow, started collect comics when it was 25-cent cover price. Oh, I wish comics still went for that cover price. That would be amazing. But Big Cat, the Wonder Woman cartoon was awesome back in the 80s. Was there a cartoon? Now, I knew she was in Justice League, but I didn't know there was a Wonder Woman cartoon. But don't forget the Super Friends. That was another one. Justice League, Super Friends, a lot of good cartoons and stuff. I had to take a drink. My throat was getting a little dry there. But You know what? OG, way to go. Okay. That's my buddy there. Saturday morning cartoons, reading comic books while eating sugary cereals. Okay. It is complete Nirvana, if you will. Uh, yeah, like some of the cereals, I don't know how they're actually sold because there's no nutritional value, but they're pretty unhealthy. Stephanie, I bet you would. Okay. She's a fighter, but nice. Good job. Okay. Yeah, he showed up twice. Not a big fan of the guy, but not even sure who it was. Jeffrey Cragen, my buddy. Okay. Nice to see you in this chat. Let's see. I remember putting you know what? I think we all did when we were kids because, well, we just didn't know any better. But yes, and it tasted so good. You know, I used to like sugar on top of Rice Krispies because even though they're very sugary, they always needed a little bit more. But hey, guys, I had a great time talking to you guys. You know, it's a great time hanging out with the community. I appreciate all the comments and all the conversation we had. But I'm going to wrap it up here in about 30 seconds. But I'm going to answer a couple questions before we go. You've been collecting since a few months before the pandemic and slowly branching into YouTube. Excellent. First comic was the beginning of the Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover. You know what? That's a pretty cool group of characters to get into if that was your first. Okay. So excellent. Okay. I wish I could stay longer. All right, buddy. Well, thanks for stopping in. But all right, potato farming. Nice to see you in here. Thanks for going live tonight. You know what? I just wanted to go live and say hi to some really awesome people. Okay, so guys, I want to thank everybody for watching, and you guys have a great night.